All right, how about now?
Loud and clear.
Okay, see, this is why we check, because these things happen. Always good to check. All right, perfect. Now we can continue. Now, we have discussed the basic strategy we're going to follow for our lady or the tiger questions. And for our level of complexity, we're not going to have too many doors, so we can follow strategy 2 where we're just going to list all the options and work our way through them. There's nothing wrong with that strategy. That's only going to become inefficient when we have a much bigger situation, and that's not going to be the case for us. So, all we want to practice is just seeing different statements that the door can make, seeing slight variations to just keep us on our toes and check if we truly understand this kind of puzzle. So we're just going to work our way through these exercises that are in the book, knowing that we have 2 days for this, which is more than enough time. So please ask anything if you are not sure as we go. Don't wait until the end and then ask, oh, exercise 211, I didn't understand that one. No, do it while we are talking about it. All right, 211 is next. The king announces that the signs are either both true or both false. Which door should we choose? So we know right away that I'm going to set things up by listing all the scenarios, which I always start with the best case. I'm just an optimist. Lady, lady. Then it could be a mix one way or a mix the other way. Or it could be the worst case for the prisoner and they're both tigers. But at least they'll know before they open the door so they can sort of prepare themselves, I guess. I don't know. So we don't know which one of these four scenarios are actually happening. We want to systematically investigate and eliminate them until there's only one possible scenario left, and that then has to be the correct one. That is our approach. So I might as well start with the first one. Doesn't really matter. I don't know where the answer is. It could be that one. Now I look at what the doors are saying. Assuming that scenario happens, door 1 says, at least one of these rooms contains a lady. True or false? I know it's 8:30 and you don't feel like speaking, but it will make a big difference. At least one means one or more, and definitely true because they both contain ladies. Door 2 says, a tiger is in the other room. True or false?
False.
False. There is a lady in the other room under this scenario. Now I can investigate this assumption further by comparing it to the extra information the king gives me, and the king says they're both true or both false, not a mix. And I got a mix, so I can then conclude with certainty not possible. As great as it would be for the prisoner, this one is not happening. That's okay, I have three more options left. So I am not concerned. There's still a chance for the prisoner to save themselves. I just move on to the next one. And it's really just a matter of time. I'm quite confident. If I go slowly enough and carefully enough, I only have three options left. One of them is going to work. It's just a matter of time before I find it. Now I'm looking only at Lady Tiger, and none of the others exist when I do that, remember. Door 1 says, At least one of these rooms contains a lady. True or false?
True.
True. There's a lady there. Absolutely. So these statements are a little shorter and easier to evaluate, but still good practice. Door 2 says a tiger is in the other room. That's door 2 saying it, right? So is that true or false?
False.
False, because from door two's perspective, there's a lady in the other room, not a tiger. And again, I got a mix, which the king says is not happening. Either both true or both false. So I use the king's information sort of at the end as my check. Can this be possible? Is this consistent under the assumption of the scenario? Is this consistent with all the information that I have, including what the king says? And in this case, sadly, it is not. It's not really sad because I have two more options. I just keep going. Now I'm looking at Tiger Lady. I'm hoping for the prisoner's sake this is the winner, but either way, I just want to know the answer. Tiger Lady. Door 1 says, at least one of these rooms contains a lady. Yep, doesn't say which one. There is a lady somewhere behind the doors. Some people may still hold on to some feeling of, oh, true means good and correct, and false means bad and incorrect. And that's not the case, right? True or false doesn't matter to me at this stage. It just is what it is. I just have to know if I'm looking at this scenario, what kind of statements are the doors making, and is that okay or not? They could be true or false. It doesn't make it better or worse. Door 2 says a tiger is in the other room. From door two's perspective, the tiger is in the other room, so that's true. And this, giving me two truths, fits with the extra rule the king gives me. They could either both be true or both be false. So in this case, both true, definitely possible. Now I'll say again, we do have the luxury of of knowing that our questions are going to be set up well to have only one of these scenarios be possible. So once I find one, I do have the option of stopping in a test or wherever. But technically, if you just get this puzzle randomly, you don't know who set it up. And we can't conclude just because it doesn't contradict any information that it is the correct answer. We There could be multiple answers. It could be set up to not have an answer. All kinds of things could technically happen. So the only way to be 100% certain is to check all the possibilities. And if I eliminate everything except one, then that one has to be correct. Okay. So you do have the option. I kind of like to check them all because what if I made a mistake in this third scenario in my reasoning and I missed something or I misread something or something happened? If I stop, then I'm hoping I did everything right. But if I check all of them and the other one isn't not possible, that makes me feel a little bit more confident that I did everything right. Still not a guarantee, of course. So for practice sake, and I have so much time, let's check the last one, Tiger Tiger. Door 1 says, at least one of these rooms contains a lady. No, that doesn't mean it's wrong or anything. It's just a false statement. Door 2 says, a tiger is in the other room. From door two's perspective, there is a tiger in the other room, yeah. And I get a mix of true and false when the king says I should not. So for that reason, it is not possible. And oops, that's a B. And I feel a little better about my third one being the correct answer. So then we can say choose door 2 for the lady, and the prisoner has a chance to be free. All right. How do we feel about this strategy? It's just a matter of practice, but we do want to know going in, how am I going to approach these questions? I can do that with confidence. And then it's just a matter of looking at the specific variation that the question has. Our setup, our strategy in its starting form isn't going to change really. But feel free to ask whenever you want. Question on YouTube. Why was the last tiger true and this one false in door one? If I look at the last scenario again, the last tiger, door two says a tiger is in the other room. And in this scenario, the other room is room one, and there is a tiger. So what door two is saying is true. There is a tiger in the other room. The, the fact that tiger is a bad scenario for the prisoner has no impact on truth and false here. I just have to evaluate based on the contents that I temporarily assume uh, are the statements true or false. Could be anything. It's very easy to uh, remember the statements that the doors are making slightly wrong or to go too fast. I read these statements over and over and over. I double check what the king says over and over and over, but I do leave the information that the king says until the end to help me find the possible, not possible. There are other ways to do this by incorporating what the king says earlier. I find that that creates way more confusion than this method, and I like to have consistency, so I'm not going to change my approach. But there are other ways to do this, absolutely. We saw strategy one is a very different way to do this. Uh, I'm
I
not,
just
yes,
have a quick question about that one, if that's okay.
of course.
Um, I'm just wondering, so why is our final answer saying that we choose door two? If so, because we said door one is also true, so
Okay, this is the thing. This is why I said true doesn't mean good and false means bad. It means nothing. True and false is the same to me. It just is what it
okay.
is. The prisoner does not want to get eaten. That is their ultimate goal.
Oh, right.
The doors could be lying, could be saying whatever they want to say. As long as the prisoner doesn't get eaten, no one cares. They
Right. I
could
forgot about that
they
final
could all be
part. Okay.
false. It's
Thank
still
you.
good news for the prisoner, right? So we want to choose the lady door. But
Okay.
that's very
Thank you.
important. Very good that you brought that up. That there is definitely other people that might be thinking the same thing. That I can't be too attached to the true and false. It is what it is. I really don't care. I want to find the lady. They could all be lying uh, to me all the time. Doesn't matter. Okay. So these little sort of preconceived things we have to let go of sometimes, and we don't realize that we're even doing it. All right, next one. That would be two. We did this one. No, we didn't. I already scrolled down, didn't I? So 212 is the next one. Okay, good. They'll look very similar after a while. I have to read very carefully, and then I'll notice the differences. Didn't I just do this one? Why am I? Oh, they look very similar. Okay, they're not the same. 212 is a different one. Whew, didn't want to miss anyone. Oh, so the king announces that again the signs are both true or both false. Okay, I'll use that later. It's good to know. There is the information that I'll use. And then the doors are saying slightly different things. Same setup, two doors. So I can start with confidence setting things up. I have decided on strategy one. Now, again, I will say as I'm writing these down, and they're pretty much always the same, right? That if you really like strategy one or a slightly different way of doing this and you feel comfortable with that and you can do that with confidence, go right ahead. But just make sure you explain yourself well. If you're doing this same strategy, then when you lay it out, I am going to assume, okay, you're doing the strategy we discussed. Let me just check if you find the right scenario, and we're good to go. No need for further explanation. But if you choose another approach, just make sure you explain that clearly so that I can understand your reasoning and check that. But there are other ways for sure. I just always start with a very optimistic lady. One of these days it's going to happen. I just know it. I can't rule it out right away. So I look at scenario one, see what the doors are saying. Door one is saying, a tiger is in this room or a lady is in the other room. Now, this is a statement that I haven't encountered. I've encountered an and statement. Here I have what I call an or statement, that I have two little statements. One of them is a tiger is in this room. One of them is a lady is in the other room. And now they're combined in one big statement. And when it comes to or, I have to be, again, very aware of uh, our natural intuitive understanding of the word and how it can have multiple meanings, and having a precise, clear, unique meaning on paper. Because when it comes to puzzles and logical reasoning, there can't be vague statements. There can't be things that could mean two different things. And depending on who's reading it, they interpret it differently, right? We don't want anything like that. We can't work with things like that. Everything has to have a clear, specific meaning. So I just want to go on a side note here and evaluate the or statement, so everyone is on the same page. Just like we did for the and statement, we have an or statement. So we have two pieces, two little statements. A is a statement on its own, linked with an or word. Okay, so I'm going to do a little drawing again, and I'm going to draw, okay, so I'm going to make A the statement that I am going to draw a circle. And B is going to be the statement I drew a square. Okay, just like before. So here's my drawing area. There's my drawing, my canvas. All right, let us draw that. And my statement is, I drew a circle or I drew a square. Is it true or false? That
It's true.
it's true, right? So in the case, let me just see my spacing here. I'll do it over here. So in the case where I drew a circle and I didn't draw a square, I got it true. Let's do it like that. No, maybe not a line. My line drawing skills are bad. Okay, now I have to erase this, what I have on the canvas. Let's do that. New situation that I will draw. There's my drawing, ugly as it is. My statement, I drew a circle or I drew a square. True or false?
True.
True. So if I have one of them, in both cases, it's true, right? Okay. Those are a little more intuitive, but we have other possibilities as well. Here's my canvas. I finished my drawing. My statement is, I drew a circle or I drew a square. True or false?
False.
False. So if I draw neither, then it's false. If I have neither one of them. Okay. Last one. Here is my drawing. My statement is, I drew a circle or I drew a square. True or false?
False.
Exactly. It's not, it's true. How we interpret or in general is technically not correct, but in conversation we can elaborate and clarify as we need to. Or does not mean exclusive or. There are actually two different kinds of or. One is called the or sort of combination, and the other one is exclusive. That exclusive would mean that I can have only one. I can't have both. When I just have an or statement, it's just one or the other, maybe both. I still have one of them. And there's a difference between these two where it doesn't come up in conversation as much because I'm not going to make a single statement to a person and walk away. I'm going to be there to elaborate and add clarification if I need to. So, in that sense, the or can have multiple meanings. But if I say, looking at the canvas, I drew a circle or I drew a square, I still could draw both, and it's still true. So in logical reasoning, the or works like this, and there is two different kinds of ors for reasons that I don't want to be confused and I don't want to misread it. So if I say, for example, I drew either a circle or a square, that's exclusive, and that's not the same statement anymore. There's a difference between uh, I drew a circle or I drew a square, and I drew either a circle or a square. See how those are they're not the same. They have different meanings. Even though or is in both, one is an exclusive that I can only have one that either word adds to it. Without that word, or is much more inclusive than we might intuitively think. Okay, so I need to be aware of that whenever I see an or statement. And to make it simple, I'm not going to have an either sometimes as well. Though if you Google Lady or the Tiger, maybe you'll see that variation. Everyone's sort of okay with the two different kinds of or. So in this statement, we just have an or. It would be very different if it said a tiger is, or either a tiger is in this room or a lady is in the other room. Then it's a different statement with different meanings, different evaluation. But it doesn't say that. It just says a tiger is in this room or a lady is in the other room. I need one or the other or both to be true. So let's clarify that here. So an or statement is, let's get rid of this. This kind of statement is true uh, whenever A or B is true, and maybe even both are true. So it's very inclusive. It's like, yeah, the only time I'm going to be false is if nothing works. Any other time, yeah, I'm true. It's all there. Come join the party. Okay. But we need to be very clear before we can uh, effectively evaluate statements. We need to know every word has a meaning. It's there for a reason. And when it's not there, sometimes that also has a meaning. Okay. Now we can go back, I hope, and look at our first lady scenario, where the one says, a tiger is in this room or a lady is in the other room. Is that true or false?
True.
It's now true. Yeah, it fails in the first one. A tiger isn't in this room. But I do get a lady in the other room. I just need one of the two. This one or both. And I got one of them, so it's true. So if you this might be the or statement might be a sticky point for some where you're really attached to your intuitive understanding of or. Um, but if you think about examples, I could use or in multiple ways, and we can't have that here. So there's an agreement that or means this, and if you want to be exclusive, you put more words like either or something with it. Okay. Next, door two is saying a lady is in the other room. Well, that's obviously true, right? Because a lady is right there. And what do you know? The king says either both signs are true or both signs are false. I got both true. The day has come, I said it would, well, because I knew it would, that two ladies are behind the doors and the prisoner could not be luckier. However, What if I made a mistake in reading something or I went too fast? It might make me feel a little better if we do actually eliminate the other ones. Getting my very first scenario correct, I don't know. I'm suspicious. So let's, for practice, if nothing else, check the second scenario and see, are they actually all impossible? Then, okay. I trust that this puzzle is set up well, so I can stop, but I'm still suspicious. So let's check the second scenario, Lady Tiger. I need to practice anyway. Door 1 says, a tiger is in this room or a lady is in the other room. True or false?
False.
False. A tiger isn't in this room. A lady isn't in the other room, so it fails on both, and that's the only time an or statement can be false. So I got that one situation. Door 2 says, a lady is in the other room. Yeah, a lady totally is. Sorry, I totally interrupted you. You wanted to say true? However, true in this case is not the. I guess it's good news. I don't want another possible. I'm hoping that my original one is correct. Because the king says either both true or both false, I got a mix, and therefore that disagrees with the king, and that cannot happen. So that one is out. Please stop me if I'm going too fast. I really can't gauge the perfect pace unless you say something. So I'm hoping all of these are not possible, but I don't know until I actually check them. So scenario number 3, tiger, lady. Door 1 says, a tiger is in this room or a lady is in the other room. True or false?
True.
True. I have both of the pieces, and that makes the or statement even happier. Door 2, a lady is in the other room. No, clearly not, right? There's a tiger there. But a mix is not a good thing in this case because the king says either both true or both false, and that goes against the king, and that is not possible. So it's out. But I can also see that as a good thing because I'm hoping to eliminate all of these last scenarios. One more to go, a tiger-tiger scenario. Door 1 says, a tiger is in this room or a lady is in the other room. True or false?
True.
That is true because the first part already was good. Door 2 says, a lady is in the other room. No, there's a tiger, clearly not. I got a mix again, which the king says is not happening, not possible. So now I feel much better that the lady scenario is actually what happens. So you can choose either door. Doesn't matter at all. You are safe to open whatever you want as the prisoner. All right, so that was good news. Probably won't happen again, but it's nice to see. To emphasize that I can't assume, as unlikely as the lady scenario might be for me, I can't assume that it doesn't happen. All right. So we're slowly working our way, actually a little too fast, working our way through these exercises. Are there any thoughts at this stage? Not too bad, or overwhelming, or something in the middle? Who knows? I don't, because you're not saying anything. I need feedback.
It's a quick
Pretty good.
question.
All right.
Is there always going to be two doors and like the same setup with the 4 possibilities?
No. And we'll see them eventually. But we're never going to have it be crazy. So we do
Okay.
want some variety. Otherwise, we sort of do this without thinking after a while. We want to just be on our toes a little bit. So we'll see some variety. 213 has one such. If I just scan ahead, there are 3 doors there in 215. Now we might
Okay.
not get to it today, but yeah, I won't go more than 3. And I think in the problems there might be 3 doors as well. So we can add a door and see how that feels. because it doesn't make the list of possible scenarios too overwhelming. This strategy is going to work as long as my list isn't too crazy.
Mhm.
So as long as we stay within that, we can have many doors, really. But we'll stop at 3, just for some
Okay.
variety. This is the. Actually, I wonder, should we just go and do this one now? Why not? Just because it's numbered later, that doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. Let's do it now. You brought it up, we're doing it. It's her fault, it's not mine. But I don't have any space. They don't go in increasing order of difficulty, so we might as well jump to 15. We just have to remember which ones we still have to do. To 15. Why not put that one next? There's no reason. Okay. The king announced that one of the rooms contained a lady and the other 2 contained tigers. He further explained that at most one of the 3 signs was true. Where's the lady, of course? So I have 3 doors and they all say stuff. Now, I don't really care what they say right now. I want to set it up. And I know my strategy. I just have one extra door to be aware of. So now I have to think, okay, it's not all possibilities. They do make it a little bit better for me. Because the king says one of the rooms contained a lady and the other 2 contained tigers, I don't have to go, okay, all ladies or 2 ladies and a tiger. Then I'm going to have um, a good number of options that might be a little overwhelming. He makes it a little easier in saying there's only one lady here. So that lady can be behind door 1 with tigers behind the other doors. That lady could be behind door 2 with tigers behind the other doors. Or the lady could be behind door 3 with tigers everywhere else. So even though I have 3 doors, I actually have fewer possibilities in this case, making it even easier. All right. Because they help me by saying there's only one lady. Don't go and make the options here without checking the question. You might do unnecessary work. All right. So now the strategy is check one scenario at a time. Even though I listed them all, I look at one row. And the first one I've listed is Lady Tiger Tiger. But yes, I now have 3 doors to check. That's okay. Let's check what they say. A tiger, door 1, a tiger is in this room. That's obviously false, because in my scenario that I'm currently in, there's a lady. Okay. Door 2 says a lady is in this room. No, there's a tiger in there. That's false too. Door 3 says a tiger is in room 2. Yeah, a tiger is in room 2. Everyone happy with false, false, true? Their statements aren't as complicated as the previous or and statements are, but still want to check. Everyone happy with our evaluation of the statements so
Yeah.
far? All right. I just have to go slow, and sometimes I go too fast, so let me know. Now, just like before, I now check that against the extra information about true and false that the king gives me. He further explained, at most one of the 3 signs was true. What does at most one mean?
Would that mean that only one of those is true?
At most means 1 or fewer. So it
Yeah.
could be 0 or 1. Up to 1. Up to 1 is true. How many did I get? Well, that's exactly what I got. I got 1. So that seems pretty possible to me. Now I'll feel better if I check when I check the others. So I definitely want to do that. But so far I got 1 true. I'm allowed 0 or 1, at most 1, up to 1. So that seems to fit. All right, sounds good. But for my peace of mind, I will check the others. In a test, I would always check the others personally. I have the time, why not? It'll just make me feel better. What if I read something wrong? I don't know. So now I'm going to check the second scenario I've listed here, which is tiger, lady, tiger. Okay. Door 1 says, a tiger is in this room. That's pretty clearly true. Door 2 says, a lady is in this room. Well, that's also true. And door 3 says, a tiger is in room 2. From door 3's perspective, door 2 is, anyway, here. It's not a tiger. That's a false statement. However, I got 2 true values. I'm allowed up to 1, so not fitting with the king's information. It's contradicting the king. Everyone happy that it contradicts the king and we can get rid of it? I don't want to go too fast. I feel I'm going too fast. I have to slow myself down. But when you've done this hundreds of times, it's hard. It's hard to guess how you are perceiving these things. And also do note that perhaps you're sitting back, you're relaxing, maybe some coffee, whatever you prefer. You're just listening to me going through this. It might seem much easier than it actually is. So do, after you're happy, you've made sure you're happy with what we're doing in these sessions. Make sure you look at the problems where you are now sort of on your own, having to set it up, having to evaluate the statements. It might not be so easy, so you do have to make that next step. Last scenario to check, tiger, tiger, lady. Door 1 says, a tiger is in this room. Yeah, tiger's right there. True. Door 2 says, a lady is in this room. No, it's a tiger. So false. Door 3 says, a tiger is in room 2. There is a tiger in room 2. That is true. And I got 2 true values. I'm only allowed up to 1, so not possible. But I now feel much better that the one I happened to list first, someone else could have listed it last, you don't know, does seem to be the right one because I've eliminated all other possibilities. The one that's left has to be the correct one. So obviously choose door. That's a weird O. Door 1. Easy enough, I hope. Manageable, doable, easy with practice, wherever you're at the moment. Alrighty. I wonder if we should stop here because we have tomorrow. The next examples are sort of in a group and they are a little bit more complicated. 213. I don't actually want to show them. Let's end on a high and leave some time if there are questions. And then we'll do the last batch and maybe a problem tomorrow. So if you want to practice, let me give you which problems you can do. Don't do all of them because we don't have all the exercises yet. 2.8 I think is the hardest one. You can do it, but leave it for the end. Oh, these are all hard. I will say while I'm thinking of this, that even though there are problems here, 211 and 212, these last two problems are not quite the same as the other Lady and the Tiger questions. They are similar, but they are supposed to be much more challenging. And a straightforward strategy 2 doesn't work as well. So they're definitely beyond a test question difficulty. If you want to ignore them completely, you are welcome to do so. But if everything else is super easy, you want the challenge, feel free to look at them at that stage. Don't look at them too early. I'm not going to assign any problems right now. We need the other exercises. And that's a longer discussion for exercise 213 and 214. So I don't want to squeeze it in now and create confusion. I want to end on a high note. But let me just double check before we end here, a little early. That's okay. Are there any questions on the examples that we have done? And then tomorrow we'll do the last two, the last variation, which is just a little bit trickier to keep track of, which makes me go slower, and I don't want to squeeze it in our time remaining now.
I have a question about the last problem we just did.
Yeah, the three-door one.
Yes.
Okay.
So for that one, are we not necessarily trying to find... Oh, never mind. So we're picking, I think I just figured it out. We're picking that one because the lady is in door one in
Yeah, it has nothing to
the...
do with false and truth at that stage.
Right.
I
Okay.
I just use the false and true to figure out if it's possible or not.
Okay. So we're still working, like always in these questions, we're wanting to choose whichever one has the lady.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
That door could be lying to me, it could be telling the truth. It doesn't matter at that stage. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, any other questions at this stage? So as you see, we're not in a hurry. Sometimes it's good to just let these things sit and slowly you're getting the hang of it. It takes time. Maybe you sleep on it. We have the time. Our pacing is very important. If we rush it, it just creates confusion. Sometimes we'll go a little faster. Sometimes we don't have to go that fast. And hopefully the pacing works for you. Let me know if you have any questions. Email, Discord, whatever. From now until tomorrow. Other than that, we will end our lesson there until tomorrow.